Blessings and welcome to the path to freedom, this wonderful path of us setting ourselves free to soar, to be in ever-expanding love and joy and harmony and wholeness and beauty, abundance. Us setting ourselves free to raise our vibration and to continuously expand our consciousness, thus allowing for ever greater and grander expressions of who and what we are to emerge from within. My name is Daniel Roquillo, and I'm always very, very grateful that you are choosing to tune in, that you're choosing to join me in a moment of expanding our consciousness and in this raising of our vibration. So thank you so much. So the topic for today is abundance is everywhere. And there have been a couple of times these last few days. It started a few days ago. I was out driving and I saw a deer on a field. It was just by the road, so it was very close, and I could see the deer's eyes, and I could see its muzzle and all these beautiful details. And as I was driving by, the deer apparently was quite used to cars because it didn't move. It was just standing there, just a few yards away from the road. And it was grazing. When I first saw it, it had its head bent down and it was grazing and enjoying the magnificence and the complete total abundance that is everywhere. And that's when this topic came to me, and since then my mind has sort of been looking for the abundance, and so I'm seeing abundance everywhere. And so I just wanted to share and invite us to begin to look for abundance, because it is everywhere. Like for this deer, it was at the edge of this particular field, but this field, I don't know how big it was, I don't know how large it was, and it doesn't matter, but I cannot even begin to count the number of blades of grass on this field. I cannot begin to count the flowers on this field. And even not visible to the naked eye, underneath the grass and underneath the flowers, how much bacteria, how many worms and bugs and whatever is in the soil underneath the field. Just contemplate how much life is on any given field at any given time. More than we can count. And I was out driving earlier today, and my mind, it didn't really begin to count or start to count the leaves on the trees, but it began to pay attention. It began to notice the individual leaves as I was driving by these trees. My goodness, how many leaves on any one tree, let alone, in a forest. As I was driving through a forest, more than we can count. How many clouds in the sky on a semi-cloudy day? Probably more than we can count. How many grains of sand on any beach? More than we can count. How many threads in any sweater or t-shirt or rug? More than we can count. How many strands of hair on our bodies? More than we can count. How many cells in the body? More than we can count. And as the sacred laws don't care what we're turning our attention to, the only thing they care about is what we're thinking about the most, what we're talking about the most, what we're feeling about the most, with emphasis on the feeling tone that we carry. As we begin to look for abundance, as we make it a practice to look for abundance every single day, yes, I know the mind is sort of predisposed to look for scarcity, to look for the not enoughness, to look for problems, to look for things to be afraid of, things that go bunk in the night, doom and gloom and all of that. So along this path, one way to articulate what this path of freedom is about is that we are taking our minds back. We're reclaiming sanity in an insane world, in this insane world. And sanity simply means that we're waking up. It simply means that we're beginning to exercise our ability to consciously choose where we want to turn our attention. We've all been gifted with this beautiful mind, this gift of independent thinking, a reflective consciousness which allows us to think about whatever we want to think about in any given moment, to turn our attention to whatever we want to turn our attention to in any given moment. And as we begin to reclaim dominion over our minds, as we begin to take our minds back, as they've been hijacked perhaps by fears and worries and doubt, by what is being broadcast or talked about in the media or newspapers or news broadcasts or social media or all of that. As we begin to take our minds back, what we're being called to do is to begin to choose where we want to turn our attention. What are we looking for in the world? Are we looking for scarcity? Are we looking for problems? Are we looking for something to be afraid of? Are we looking for that worst case scenario? Or are we looking, all of which lower our vibration, all of which do not serve us? Or are we looking for that which does serve us? Are we looking for that which lifts our vibration? Are we looking for that which is in alignment with what we wish to experience? And so the topic for today is abundance is everywhere. We could just as easily say that love is everywhere. We could just as easily say that peace is everywhere, that wholeness is everywhere, that harmony is everywhere, that beauty is everywhere. So these divine qualities and abundance and wholeness and beauty and love, and I forgot which ones I said, and progression and intelligence and creativity, these are divine qualities, which means that they, as God is all there is, as God is fully present in every space and place, it means that these are fully present in every space and place, because God cannot ever contradict itself. It cannot ever diminish itself. It cannot show up halfway. It cannot ever decide to just give a little bit of itself over here and a little bit more or a little bit less of itself over there, but it is always expressing itself perfectly. It is always expressing itself fully and freely, right? So all of that which God is fully present in every space and place. So what is it that we are looking for? And if we are experiencing a financial challenge or a health challenge or any kind of challenge, the invitation, as every challenge, is but a stepping stone for us to move to the next level of who and what we are. It is but a stepping stone. That's not what I was going to say. I was going to say that it is a gift and blessing of transformation, meaning that as we are moving into a challenge, we're being called every challenge is an offering from Spirit for us to release and let go of something, so that we may allow for the next great and grand version of who and what we are to emerge. So as we are perhaps being faced with financial challenges or health challenges or relationship challenges, a beautiful question for us to ask is, which quality do I want to experience? As I'm moving through this challenge, which quality do I wish to experience? Well, it may be that I wish to experience more love. It may be that I wish to experience more abundance. It may be that I wish to experience more peace. It may be that I wish to experience more health and wholeness. So that then is the invitation for us to go look for that particular quality. To go look for that particular quality. And we will, when we begin to look for it, when we truly wish to see it, we will see it. Now, this takes discipline, and it takes work, because the mind is habitual. So the mind habitually turns its attention toward whatever it is used to, at least historically used to turning its attention to. And oftentimes it is turning its attention toward what we tend to believe to be true. So if we believe that, for instance, that there is not enough in the world, then our mind goes looking for the evidence of that. If we believe, for instance, that we are not enough, then the mind goes chasing the evidence of that. So there is deep work for us to do in terms of changing what our minds are habitually looking for. So this is us taking back our minds, looking for that we wish to experience. Not give in to the world blasting lack, scarcity, and separation in our faces, but to really take it back home, to really begin to claim ownership over our minds and over our attention, and really begin to look for that we wish to experience. Abundance is everywhere. Love is everywhere. Peace is everywhere. Harmony is everywhere. And if we're not seeing it, it's only because we're not really looking for it. We're moving through life with like shades or sunglasses over our eyes, only seeing what the filters are permitting us to see. So yes, we do need to remove our sunglasses so that we may begin to see the world as God sees it, so that we may begin to know the world as God knows it. And God only knows itself, so it only knows abundance, it only knows peace, it only knows love, it only knows joy, it only knows harmony, it only knows abundance, progression, intelligence, creativity. That's all that God knows. So we're wise to begin to look for that. Abundance is everywhere. Is that what we're looking for? So that's the invitation for today, for us to choose where we want to turn our attention, for us to choose what we are looking for us to choose what we are seeking to see in the world. Until we meet again, I am bless your day, and I'm bless your way. Knowing and feeling that all is well, that something wonderful is happening, that everything is working for the highest good, for your highest good, for all of our highest good. Much love, many blessings. Namaste.